Oh, yeah. What is going on, guys? And welcome back to the Hawks Hangout Season 2. I think this is what, Corey, our 20th episode, 21st episode. We're
Who knows, brother?
absolutely killing it so far.
Just keep them rolling.
Big, massive shout out, as always, to our amazing sponsors over at Principal Brewing and over at Enable U2. And a big shout out to all of the guys over at Basketball Fix. If you ever need anything for all of your basketball content, make sure you go check them out on all of their socials at the Basketball Fix. Now, Corey, it has been a huge off-season so far. This town has still been rolling from our championship. What else has been happening, mate?
Mate, it's pretty exciting now. It's sort of become a bit of a reality. The next season's ready to go with the schedule coming out yesterday. So pretty exciting. Being able to see a bit of basketball being played too with our incredible NBL1 team that's doing really, really well in NBL1 East. So we've got lots to talk about today, mate. What are we going to start with?
I think the first one that we're definitely probably going to start with, Corey, is probably our NBL schedule plus our Ignite Cup. Now, that's been the biggest talking point so far.
Yeah.
When's the schedule getting released? What's it going to look like? Where are we going to go? All of it. So it obviously got released yesterday at 3 o'clock. There was releases earlier throughout the day. Someone's obviously stuck off on a different end, and we got early access to it. But looking at the first few games, Corey,
yeah,
the placeholder date at the moment for the Blitz is looking at the 28th of the 8th of 2025. Now, they're saying that the Blitz will be held in Canberra. So for you and I, quite easy to get down to, quite cold to get down to, something that we can possibly do. How do we feel about the Blitz being in Canberra?
I'm excited about it because it's easy access for us. Really hoping to get down there for the whole time so we can sort of start to have a look at how all the teams are shaping up for next season. Make some judgments on how we think every team's going to go, what the fit's looking like. Some teams also, I know at the Blitz necessarily may not have their rosters fully completed at that stage. It's still a month out from the season. I know some teams may be holding some things back, and some teams often hold an import place just in case. So it'll be interesting to see if we think that teams might need to add that extra piece. But it's also a good chance to get a look at every team, and I'm really excited about it. Actually, it's the first time we really have that chance to have that access to go and watch the Blitz.
Yeah, and the Blitz is kind of one of those things where, as you said, you get to go scout other teams, see other players, and all the rest of it. But it's also strategy for teams. You can sit players out. You can do what the Hawks did, and you don't have a player come in like Darius Days until Hoops Fest. So that preseason early on, you don't really have that many people coming in and out of your team. It's usually the people that you've already signed. And it's just a hit out game as of such.
I think so as well.
Some preseason games. But the first big one on the schedule is the 27th of the 9th, 2025 at home versus the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers. Now, I know Berto and JD are probably watching, sitting back going, oh, yes, rubbing their hands. Yes, we've got revenge. Sorry, boys, it's not happening. It's going on into this season. There's no way Tassie are beating us in that first home game. These boys are fired up. Unfortunately, it's not the banner unveiling, but it is our first home game in front of all of them.
So what's the banner unveiling game? I didn't know this.
Banner unveiling game, I think from memory, it's the game against Kings. I'll triple check that one because that one's a really, really good one to have.
Because I would have thought it would have been the first home game against Tassie. And I have to say, I know there's a bit of a history across the NBA as well. Often teams don't necessarily do very well in those games when they raise the banner. It's obviously a lot of emotion, and teams can get a bit fired up about it, but then they sometimes get their pants pulled down and come away with a loss on those days. So hopefully that doesn't happen to the Hawks.
So we've got banner raising in round 2, which round 2 at home.
Okay.
Either looks like Brisbane or New Zealand.
Okay.
From the looks of it.
All right.
So it'll more than likely be Brisbane or New Zealand that will be raising the banner against.
Okay. Well, that first game against Tassie is going to be very interesting. We're obviously coming back with a squad that has a lot of the core pieces still there. Tassie is first time they've sort of had a bit of a rebuild in their short history. Obviously losing Milton Doyle and Jordan Crawford, two key parts. That's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I have a lot of respect for Scott Roth as a coach. I think that whoever he brings in is going to be pretty good for that culture. and they're always going to be super competitive. That's always been part of who they are. So I'm not expecting an easy game in that one, but I'm hoping to come away with a victory. I'm hoping that because the Hawks have that strong core to start the season, they know each other's processes really well. So they should be able to hit the ground running early in the season, probably more so than most other teams in the competition who have lots of different pieces coming in. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah. Now, our first stretch of games, Corey, they're coming thick and fast. Obviously, with the addition of the Ignite Cup, there's obviously an extra 20 games in the season itself. Obviously, with the Hawks playing 2 extra home games, 2 extra away games. We also then have an extra away game on top of that, which we'll get to in a second. But our first 2 games of the season, 2nd of October, straight away, we hit it off straight away. We're straight in Perth. We've got Perth in Perth on the 2nd of October. Then after that, we go on the 8th of October all the way over to New Zealand. So cross Tasman Sea all the way over to New Zealand to go and play the Breakers. And that's the first game of the Ignite Cup. So they kick it all off against Breakers. We'll talk about all of the Ignite Cup stuff later and how that all works. But our first home game of the season is on the 11th of October against the Brisbane Bullets, which I believe will be the banner unveiling. Okay. But that's 3 games in the span of 9 days to then go on the 18th of October away versus Southeast Melbourne, then back on the 25th of October away again in Perth, and then the 31st of October home against Breakers. So that's Perth twice away, Breakers twice, 1 away, 1 at home. How does that work for the Hawks, Corey?
Well, I'm just having a quick look because I was just interested to see what days. I'm always interested in, I'm not a huge fan of playing Perth on Fridays because it's always that Friday night. We get about a 9:30 tip off our time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Depending on daylight savings, so forth, it could even be at 10:30. It's a bit annoying as a fan to have to stay up and watch those times, and also as a player, body clocks and stuff. If a game's finishing on your body clock at 11:30, 12:30, it's not ideal. But that 2nd of October is a Thursday night. Interesting. And the 25th is a Saturday. So we've avoided the Friday night games. I'm assuming that Thursday is probably still going to be the same sort of time slot. But Saturday could be, maybe you could get an earlier tip-off. We'll see. Who knows?
Yeah.
But either way, it's better for the fans. Pretty tough start to the season. When you're looking at that, we've got 4 away games and 2 home games to start the season before we get that 3rd home game against the Breakers. So the first 6 games, 4 of them are away. So pretty tough. And 2 of those are in Perth, which is probably the toughest road trip there is. We all know, we'll be interested to see how they go this year. They have lost a lot of key players, arguably the greatest player to play in the NBL and Bryce Cotton. So how they recover from that will be very interesting. See who they fill their import slots with, and if how they go with their locals as well. Is it Keanu Pinder is also
off to overseas to China or Japan or something?
He's not going to be there as well. So there's 2 huge pieces. So it's going to be interesting to see how Perth goes. So it might be a good time to get Perth. At the start of the season, couple of times, especially even away, they may not be at their best at that time. They might be the sort of team that sort of hits their best towards the middle and end of the season. So it could be a little blessing maybe that we get them at the start of the season.
Fingers crossed for a little blessing. Now, speaking of blessings, we then come into November's worth of games. We've got the 2nd of November away versus the 10-headed monster, I'm going to call them this season. It's no 3-headed monster. That team is absolutely stacked. We're playing Adelaide in Adelaide.
They might have 10-headed monster, mate, but you got to remember there's only 1 ball when you play basketball. And I know a lot of people are going crazy about this team, and I understand it. They've got some great names, but they had some big names last year. And I could make an argument that the players that they have in their starting 5 especially, you could make a judgment that if the starting 5 from last year played the starting 5 who they've got this year, who knows who would win. They're both, Martin wasn't a terrible player.
No.
Jarrell Martin, he's a good player. And I know Cheatham's coming back, he's more athletic, but I've still got massive doubts over players who play in the NBL, leave the NBL and come back. very rarely do they come back a better player.
Yeah.
So, like you could say, think about Jarrell Martin. Like, was he better than when he was at the Kings? Probably not. So that could be Cheatham as well. So people are going crazy over how they saw Cheatham when he played for New Zealand, but is he going to be the same player? We don't know. All right, they got Cotton in replace of Kendrick Davis. Some people were saying that they're almost exactly the same as each other, and Kendrick's the next Cotton. So is he a younger version of Cotton? Do you know what I mean? So is this lineup, like, are they significantly better than what they had last year? And last year they were a bit of a hot mess. I know they got hot towards the end of the season. People were going to say they could win the comp, but they just seemed to be like at any time they were going to implode. And I feel that this team has that written all over them again. So I know a lot of people are talking them up, but I have my doubts over Adelaide. So that'll be a very interesting first away game against Adelaide in November.
We then go into the 5th, which is a Wednesday night at home. It's our first home NBL Ignite Cup game against Munted United, Melbourne, the Flopster himself. This team, again, it's one of those teams that has gone through a massive overhaul. They've kept a few players. They've obviously got Dash Daniels coming in as a next star this year. They've had a few additions and a few pieces come in. They've had Fabian Krizlovic come over from Tassie. It's one of those rosters that has kind of really been weird to keep track of and to keep a look of.
They've lost a lot, though. They've lost a lot. Like Delhi is the heart and soul of that team. I know, like, Golding is as well, but losing Delhi's huge, and then losing Flynn Cameron, massive loss as well. I know that they might actually, for once, be able to go for 3 imports. They haven't done that for a while. Who knows what they're going to look at doing? But they still seem to be one of the teams who have a lot of roster building still to do.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine Melbourne being poor. So I think they've got some big moves to be made. So that'll be very interesting. But the rest of November, mate, away to Cairns, home to the Kings, away again to Adelaide. So tough. And then home again to Melbourne. We seem to be getting the same teams in a bunch. Seems like that's what the schedule's sort of looking towards. Then we've got a pretty stacked December, mate. What do you think about it this December?
This December is great. Like, obviously coming in from the end of November against that last home game on Melbourne on the 21st of November, we then get ridiculously fast. We've got home against the Phoenix on the 4th of December, home against Cairns on the 6th of December, home against Brisbane on the 11th of December. Then we're away against Melbourne United on the 18th of December. We're home against Adelaide on the 20th of December. We're up the road for Freeway Series on Christmas against the Kings on the 25th. And then we're back home for our final game of the Ignite Cup on 31st of the 12th, 25, New Year's Eve, staple game against Tassie.
That's crazy. That's like 5 games in 16 days there, from the 4th to the 20th.
Yeah.
And this seems to look like it's going to be the key part of our schedule. We're stacked with a bunch of home games. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 7 games at home in that little stretch. And then we start January with another home game. So that month from the 4th of December to the 3rd of Jan, we've got a bunch of home games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of 8 games at home. That is probably going to be the deciding factor in our season. Last year, we were stacked in January, and it was a real strong turning point for us.
Yeah.
And it was holiday time, crowds were building. Obviously, we got on a bit of a run. Everyone started to believe that we were some hope of winning a championship. And that's when the crowds really started. We started getting those sellouts, and people started feeling it, and they got behind the team. It was that summer feeling, summer vibe, lots of families coming to the games. That was our January. Now it's going to be December. Obviously, the school holidays may not be as in force.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if we can still pull the crowds, because January, really fades away these home games. We only have 3 home games in January, the 3rd, the 11th, and the 31st. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
On the 3rd of January, we then come home and we've got Cairns. The 8th of January, we're away versus Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Then on the 11th of the 1st, we're home against Breakers. Then the 16th of the 1st, we're away in Perth for Hoops Fest against Perth. So Perth in Perth for Hoops Fest. Ridiculous. Then the 21st of January, we're away versus Tassie. 26th of January, we're away versus Brisbane. And then 29th of January, we're away versus Kings. Then the 31st of January, we're home versus Perth. Now, Corey, you say that this turning point in December is going to make or break this team. I think this away stretch is going to make or break this team. Let's say we take it from the away game on the 8th. We've got an away game on the 8th in Phoenix. We then have to travel from Melbourne back to home on the 11th to face New Zealand. We've then got to pack everything up and go across to Perth and play on the 16th. We've then got to go to Tassie on the 24th, pack up everything from Tassie and be in Brisbane for the 26th.
Straight A.
Then come straight back from Brisbane to versus Kings on the 29th. And then come home and versus Perth on the 31st.
Yeah.
That's an insane stretch of games.
Yeah. Like I tend to agree with you there. I know I said that it's going to be that little home stretch, but it'll be really tough because that's the time of the year where every team's sort of hitting their straps and know their stuff and are pretty confident in their formations and what they're going to be running. So it's going to be pretty scary. That little stretch where teams are going to try to be making a run for the playoffs and every game is going to be huge. Yeah, that's going to be tough. And then we come into Feb, the little run into the end of the finals. Hopefully we'll be making that run again. We've got home against Adelaide, away to the New Zealand Breakers, home to the Kings, away to Melbourne, and then we finish the season away to Tassie. So again, in Feb, only 2 out of 5 games at home. So once December finishes, we have not many home games left. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home games in Jan and Feb. So, yeah, the Hawks are going to have that. It's going to be pretty tough end of the season. The NBL has definitely not done the champs any favors. But now we've gone through all that schedule. Let's talk about some of the biggest takeaways. Like one of my biggest takeaways when we looked at this today, mate, is the teams we play 4 times. So you get 6 teams 4 times and 3 teams 3 times. So we get Tassie, Perth, Kings, Adelaide, Melbourne United, and New Zealand 4 times. And then we get Brisbane, Cairns, and SEM 3 times. So again, have not done the champs many favors. Like, you don't want to make any judgments too early because you don't really know. But at this early stage, I would be saying Brisbane and Cairns are probably 2 of the weaker teams, and we only get them 3 times. SEM, either way, could be good. Their imports still have to be decided, so that could decide them. But they've got a good, strong, and bringing back that strong core of Aussie talent. We've got them 3 times, but we've got most of the big guns 4 times. And the one that I feel is extremely unfair, and one of my bigger takeaways from this schedule, is we play Perth 4 times, but we get them 3 times away. Now, I know one of those is Hoops Fest, but again, how unlucky can you be? Hoops Fest, all the games are in Perth. You could get another team, so it's a bit of a neutral game, but no, we get Perth in Perth. Plus, then in the normal season, we've got to play them twice again away from home. How does that make any sense? Like, surely if we play them at Hoops Fest in Perth, one of the other scheduled games should be a home game for the Hawks. Just didn't make any sense to me at all. And it seems really unfair that one team has to travel to Perth 3 times. The toughest trip, the longest trip. It just...
And it's a 2-sided coin, because then you'll get people sit here and go, oh, but they've got to travel to Melbourne, or they've got to travel to Illawarra, and they've got to travel to X amount of places 3 times. Well, yeah, that's fair, but they could also have a stretch of away games. Like, we don't have a stretch of away games.
But I don't think there'll be another team who has to go to another place 3 times. I'll be interested to see the draw if there's another team that has to play another team 3 times away. I don't think it will happen.
3 times
it doesn't
before
make
they
any
then
sense.
play that team at home.
To me, it's just poor scheduling, because there's no way. Like, if you play a team 4 times, it should be 2 and 2. If you play someone 3 times, obviously it's an odd number. It's going to be 2 and 1, but then it would even out with those other teams who you play. But if you play a team 4 times, logically it should be 2-2. I can't understand. And to say, oh yeah, but you got them in Hoops Fest. Okay, if we got them in Hoops Fest, make one of the other games our home game.
Yeah,
to me, it just makes 0 sense.
Yeah.
And I know Perth have to travel. All right. And it's not even the quality of opposition that to me, it's the travel and how much that takes out of you to do that 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think it's unfair. What are some other takeaways from the schedule?
I think the biggest one is this Ignite Cup, and we're about to talk about it in a second. Obviously, they're Wednesday night games. We're fortunate enough to have 2 Wednesday night games here and then 2 Wednesday night away games. Our home games we've got against Melbourne, which is the first time that we actually play them. So a lot on the line in that game itself. It's obviously the grand final rematch. It's the first home game for us in the Ignite Cup. So you want to go out there and win it for multiple reasons. Our next one, which is a big talking point for a lot of teams at the moment, especially a lot of the fan bases in and around Wollongong, and a lot of the fan bases online for a lot of clubs. It seems to me that these Ignite Cup games are an exclusive. It's a premium. It's an extra game on top of it. It's not covered by the standard 14 games that you usually get in your season membership. So when you look at the Hawks, we've got 16 home games, which now includes the 2 Ignite Cup games. We've got 17 away games, which includes the extra 2, and then our Christmas Day game against Kings. It's one of those things, Corey, where that New Year's Eve game was a staple.
Yeah.
It was a staple. It was always included. You would always go there. It was a 5:30 game on New Year's, because then once the game was done, you would all walk down to the harbour and you'd all go and watch the fireworks. That's just basically what we did on New Year's down here.
Yeah.
Now it's
been not essentially like not taken away, but taken away from members, or members have to go and pay extra for that. So my gripe with it is that it's a tradition of the NBL, the Hawks, and usually Cairns get the New Year's Eve game. And I understand why. Both the 2 regional teams, I know other big cities have lots of things going on New Year's Eve, so it might be harder to draw a crowd. Like you wouldn't imagine Sydney having one because they got the big fireworks and people aren't going to go to the basketball and over that. But for the Hawks, regional teams, great for families to have something to do on New Year's Eve. So I'm assuming the same with Cairns. It's a great option. Now, they haven't taken that away, but what they've done is for members, now they have to pay extra. And obviously around that time of the year, like obviously we're in a financial crisis as well. Like it's around Christmas time where people are spending crazy amounts of money to then have to fork out more money to get tickets to another game. When you remember, it's just probably leaves a bit of a bad taste in the mouth. Like I think a solution would have been from the club to say maybe when people were renewing their memberships to have like a little click box, choose one of the 2 Ignite home games that you would like included in your membership. And then you could choose one of them. So if some people may be like happy that the New Year's Eve game isn't included, well, you can choose the other one as your choice, because then you could maybe some younger people might be like, oh, this gives me an opportunity to go and do something else on New Year's Eve. I get it. But for me, the New Year's Eve game is for families. Young people and young families can go out and do something together. Doesn't necessarily always have to be like a party atmosphere. I know young people want to go out and party. That's great. But it doesn't have to always be like that. So I think, it's just, I think they could have handled it a little bit better. And I know some clubs are including the Ignite Cup games in their memberships, but I know the Hawks aren't. And I think it's going to be a massive talking point as the season starts progressing, because when that game starts coming up, people will be like, wanting to go to that game. Yeah. And it's just
the joys, Corey.
The joys.
Now, speaking of this Ignite Cup, let's go through a little bit of the rules behind it all. There's obviously $400,000 up for grabs. $300,000 goes to the winning team, $100,000 to the runners up. 60% of that $300,000 goes to the players. 40% then goes to the club. You get 1 point for each quarter that you win, 3 points for winning the game. So if the Hawks win all 4 quarters, then they win the game as well. There's a maximum of 7 points up for grab. So you get 1 for each quarter, which is 4, and then you win the game. That's your 7. You got half a point for a drawn quarter or a drawn game, and then obviously overtime, there'll probably be different rules and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
What do we think about it? That Wednesday night primetime games, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing for the Hawks and for the league in general?
I think it's a great thing. Summertime, people are always looking for things to do. I think adding that little Wednesday night, having that as an NBL night. I think it's a clever thing to do rather than trying to force them extra games on the weekend when people probably have other plans. I really like it. It'll be probably get really a lot of TV viewership.
Yeah.
And I think I don't like to talk about betting as in something that should make decision-making things, but as part of our sporting world at the moment. And people are going to want to bet on games Wednesday nights, getting them an opportunity to bet on more games.
Yeah.
Watch more games on TV. I really like the idea. The idea is obviously they've used this idea before with the blitz. The preseason blitz uses exactly the same concept with winning quarters and gaining points. I guess it's the only real way that you can do this because you're not playing everyone. You're only getting 4 games. So there could be way too many times where there's teams who have the same record, 2-2, 4-0, 3-1, whatever.
Yeah.
So it'd be very hard to distinguish a winner unless you're going on for and against. So I really like this idea of points for quarters. And every game counts to the regular season, except for the grand final. So I'm assuming they'll just get over the records of points accumulated over those games. The top 2 teams who got the most points would then play in a one-off final, I assume. And I don't know whether the top team gets home court advantage or it might be at a neutral venue. I don't know if they've spoken about that yet.
They haven't spoken about it. They're saying that it's going to be an exclusive venue, but it's also worth noting that the date that they've got as a placeholder date for the Ignite Cup final also then happens to be the same night that they've got the Andrew Gaze Awards. So I would not be surprised if it's a Melbourne game. It's a John Cain Arena or something like that.
So is the grand final going to be like at the end of the season?
Yeah, so the top 2, so for the Ignite Cup, because our last one itself is our home game on the 31st of December.
Yeah.
And then it goes in from there. I'm not too sure if anyone else has got games after us. I'm pretty sure they do. But then, the placeholder date that they're looking at, from what I have heard, is that they're looking to put it around the same time as the Andrew Gaze Awards night. So then it's all this whole one big...
Okay. So
big celebration and festival. You've got the Ignite Cup Grand Final. You've got the Andrew Gaze Award nights. Everyone's going to be there, regardless if they're playing or not. All the players, all the teams, they're all going to be there watching, cheering on whoever's playing in that final. And then you'll have the awards night ceremony afterwards or beforehand.
And is that award? I'm trying to remember last year. Is the award ceremony scheduled at the end of the regular season?
From last year's memory, it was the 18th of February. So it was afterwards.
That would be the last game.
That's our away game versus Tassie. So they might push it back a little bit just because we've got those extra games in there now. So it might be like the 20th of February, a little bit later on. But then still looking for an end of February, early March for your playoffs.
Well, I wonder if they have that FIBA break thing again. If that comes into play, it might be.
We do have a FIBA break.
Okay,
from
it might
November
be something
into December.
How about the one that came at Feb and sort of?
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll have that again. But yeah, interesting. I thought, knowing that we had our last game on the 31st of December, I thought maybe the final might be sometime in January, not at the end of the season. At least it keeps it interesting because teams may be out of the playoff race, but
they still that one. Yeah,
it will still be in a final for that. But it seems to be like a long time. Like if that's the Hawks is the last game in December,
then February.
Then Feb's going to be the final for that. Like, yeah, I get it. It'll be a one-off game. It'll be interesting. It's going to be exciting to see a one-off final. Like, I think it's a great concept. Like, I like the idea about the point system. I like the Wednesday nights. I like that players get a chance to win some extra cash. Quick maths in my head, it'd probably be about the 60% of 300,000 would be around the 18,000 mark if it's 10 per team each player. But there's 11 players, so maybe 15K each if you put the DPs in or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a nice little 15 little pick me up. So I think the players will really like that in this day and age. And obviously, like NBL, not all NBL players get like a big chunk of money. So 15 grand will help them. So it'll be pretty exciting, I think. I actually do really like the concept. I like that they're bringing something new to this season. And I think the fans will get behind it. It was always the first one's exciting. It might give a team a chance to, like, who hasn't won something for a while or maybe ever before to win something. So I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, Corey. But the only way that we're going to get there is to talk about our roster.
Yeah.
Now, our roster at the moment kind of isn't set. It's one of those things where everyone's still waiting on everything to come through. Everyone's still going, oh, what's happening? Where are people playing? What are people doing? Well, lucky for us, most of our players, we've got 3 of them at the moment, playing for our NBL1 squad. So they're still locally.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely great getting to watch them smash it out on the court every single week. And we'll get into them in a second. But our rosters, Corey, we've got 2 import spots remaining. We haven't re-signed Trey Kell yet, and we still have that extra import spot, as unfortunately Darius Days won't be coming back. Who do you think they're going to be? There's rumors around that it's probably Derek Walton and Matt Hurt as a package deal. They're going after Trey Kell. They're going after Matt Hurt, and they might have to spend extra money. What do you think? I've got my opinions, but what do you think?
I personally think it's going to really come down to the draft that comes up soon. Like we've got it down there. So the 26th or 27th of this month.
Yeah, it's across the 2 days.
Yeah. Lockie in that draft and what happens with that, I think it's going to be, I know this might sound dramatic, but I think it's going to decide our season. If Lockie gets drafted and hopefully the team who drafts him says, yeah, we'd love you to go back and have another year at the Hawks.
Yeah.
Perfect scenario. If that doesn't happen, they say, no, we want you to go play in the G League and whatever, or go somewhere else. That's a big concern. And my reasons for that are this. It's going to be very late. The odds of us finding a local talent who can replace him are very slim. And we've already lost Froling to injury. So it's going to be very challenging for us. Then it's very similar to how Tassie won a title and then they lost McVeigh. It's very hard to replace a McVeigh late on. And you really saw that last season. They were competitive, but you just never felt that they were a chance to win the title. And that would be my biggest concern. So if Lockie comes back and we have him, I'm confident that we can be very competitive because that has a local who can play a really key position and he can take over and cover that loss of Froling, I believe. But if we lose Froling and Lockie and then replace him with someone who is of lower level, we're going to struggle, I believe. So
we're definitely going to struggle, and it'll be interesting to see. As you said, obviously the draft split into the 2 days. The first round happens on the 26th of this month, then the 27th of this month, the second round. Now he's predicted to be the second round, like a second round pick. The last mock draft had him at pick 50 going to the Knicks. Now, for me, I don't think him on the Knicks is a good fit. There was obviously a whole video that Josh and I did talking about rosters and everything like that. If you haven't gone and watched it, go and check it out because we explained it in more depth over there, what a better team and a good fit for Lockie would be. But pick 50 to the Knicks, they've got heaps of centers. They've got Cat, they've got Anobi, they've got Precious Achua, they've got Ariel Hukporti over there. Like
Hukporti is very similar style player, I guess, and level player to Lockie. So it would seem 2 of those won't really fit. But these are just like mock things. We don't really know. Like my thing is if he goes anywhere like 50 to 60, that's the odds are he's going to be like sent back to the Hawks. Yeah. So that's what we're probably hoping for. If he goes any earlier than that, then that team's probably looking to potentially use him. Yeah. If he's in the 30s or something like that.
You look at someone like an Alex Tui and a Rocco Zikarsky. They're both sitting at the mid 30s to the early 40s. Yeah. Someone like Alex Tui's looking at like pick 35, pick 36, and Rocco's looking 41, 42.
Yeah, I reckon that pick 35, 36 is the sort of limit to where a team's sort of looking to potentially use them in the upcoming season. After that, it's more about like development and stash them away or put them somewhere else and see how they go. So, yeah, but because then after that, like the imports, like I really like the talk about Matt Hurt. I think he's a good player. He was top 3 at MVP last year. He gives us something that we didn't have. And I think as a championship team, you can't just come back and be the same team. Teams are going to work you out. You need to bring something different. And he's exactly what I believe we need in a player that gives us that difference. He's a great rebounder. Yeah. Probably a stronger rebounder than Froling. He can hit the 3. He's got a great outside shot, and he's got some nice little moves around the basket on like little fadeaways and off one leg and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He gives us something a little bit different that we don't have in our bigs. Someone who can stretch the floor a little bit more, and I think he'd be a great fit for us. Also, like, we haven't spoken about it, but the loss of Lee is going to be a big one as well. Like, he came on, he gave us a spark. The fans loved him. He was a bit of a cult hero. He didn't always have the great games, but when he did, it was a difference maker. And often when he played well, he won. And his shooting was great. So I know it might open some more minutes for Gritter. So, but is Gritter shooting up to Lee's level? Probably not, but he offers probably more in defense and energy and athleticism. So again, that's bringing a point of difference that we didn't have. But I don't like the Derek Walton talk.
No.
The dude hadn't hit a three against us for how long? And we can't afford a guard who can't shoot threes. Yeah. I'm not a fan of it. I know it's happened a couple of seasons with us, and whenever we've had a guard teams work it out very quickly, and it just clogs up the paint. When you've got a player like Tyler Harvey and you can complement them with someone else who can shoot, and then you've got guys like Toddy Blanchfield around them who can like light it up as well. We can't afford to have a guard import who can't, because I'd say one is okay from three, but he's not great.
Yeah,
even though
a lot of our team can splash it from the three. You look at Peatling, you look at Greedo, you look at...
They can, but it's not like it's not. You wouldn't want them to have the shot at the end of the game. Like, you wouldn't want Wani or Greedo or Peatling having a shot in the fourth quarter at a big moment.
Yeah.
Like, you want multiple players. Like we had last year, we had Toddy, Kel, Harvey, Lee, who in key moments you'd be quite happy for them to have shoot that three to cut the deficit or give us the lead or something like that. So it's really important that Kel is the dream. If we can get Kel, Matt Hurt, or a similar style player to Matt Hurt, Lockie back, I seriously think we can go back to back. It's not this no chip talk is not happening.
It's not happening, guys. Sorry.
We've won one, so now I can be a little bit more confident. The shackles are off. But I will say, if Lockie does not come back, and I'm being brutally honest, I honestly think we can't go back to back. That's how important it is.
Yeah, it's one of those players that has provided so much on our team, especially when Frawling went down. We've talked about it a lot. I'm not going to sit here and say this whole next man up mentality, because I'm sick of having to say it. Everyone knows it by now. It's what this town is about. We don't have any backups besides that. We've got Luca Yates there as a backup big, and that's about it. And he's obviously been killing it over in New Zealand at the moment. But to then put the entirety of the pressure of being that only big man on the team, that's a lot. That is a lot of pressure on someone.
Yeah, he's not going to be up for that just yet. Like, it'd be nice if he gets a few more minutes, but that's what the big is. If we don't have Lockie back, who is out there, an Aussie who's going to be able to do it? Are we then going to have to go for an import big, which would be even more concerning, because import fives just don't work in the NBL. That's my personal opinion. If you're good enough, if you're tall enough and good enough, you should be in the NBA. You'll find a role in the NBA. That's just the way it is. You can't teach height. No. So if they come into the NBL, there must be a reason why they must have a significant deficiency in their game. And you see it all the time. So sometimes if you're getting an import five, it's sometimes the teams who have really two other strong imports and they just need a role-playing five to do a job, like a bit like a Marcus Lee, who's done that and made a bit of a living out of that in the NBL. But like, for example, if we lose, I couldn't be having an import spot on Marcus Lee for this Hawks team.
Yeah, no.
Like, we need someone who can give more than what Marcus Lee can give.
Yeah.
So, like, he can do a great role for a team as long as he's got great players around him.
Yeah. But
he's not a scorer. He's a shot blocker, a rebounder, but he can't shoot. So that would be a big worry. I wouldn't want to use an import spot on a five. I want it to be on a four.
Yeah.
And then our other on a import point guard. And I've said it so much. We've all said it so much. Kel was the key to that. Like, a big guards in the NBL. are hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of great small guards, but when we've got someone like Kel there, he just could dominate the guys. He just at will could get to the bucket, get to the free throw line. He was just a pleasure to watch when we needed it. We needed to get a score.
Yeah.
So, come on, Trey, just come back, buddy.
And my thing is with Trey, he's been in the league for a while now. He's bounced around a few systems. He's obviously been with Adelaide. He's been with Southeast Melbourne. Really found his fit in a system that has actually kind of built around him. We've obviously kept our main core of players. There was a thing that NBL released the other day. Our longest Dan Greeter at 7 years. After that, it would probably be Frawling and then Harvey after that as well. Those guys have been with the club for 5, 6, 7 years now. They've been here for quite a while. But the offense and the system that we were playing kind of really, really shaped around Trey Kell and the way Trey Kell played and handled the ball. And it was that one signing, as I said to Josh on that episode, but it was that one signing that Tatum just had to have. It was the one signing he went after and he had to have. Besides Darius Days, that was the only difference that he made to that team. Obviously, Clark, we didn't get Clark back. Would have been a luxury to have him back. Obviously, he's re-signed overseas in China, won't be coming back. So we can scrap that. But you add someone in like a Matt Hurt, third in MVP voting, can play that stretch 3, 4, 5 role even, can shoot the 3 ball, can be your interior presence, can rebound, can dominate, can dunk, is athletic, is young.
It's huge. What I thought, when you just said that, what I think of in games, like when it's close in games, and I know at end of games when you're fouling and people will get like, we were always worried that like at end of games, are they going to foul Lockie or are they going to foul Froling, who both were a bit dodgy at the free throw line. At end of games, if you could play Matt Hurt at the 5, like he's still going to rebound for you.
Yeah.
And then he stretches, and then if he's getting fouled, he's knocking those free throws down. Yeah. So he would just bring like something, a player like him, like that's what we really need. And we showed it last year, like you said, like we didn't make a great deal of changes. It was Kell and who else?
Days.
They're the only two really new things. Like, and that's all we needed to add to the core. If you can complement that with a guy like Matt Hurt, that might be all we need. But you do need to bring something different.
Yeah, it needs to be different.
It needs to be different. He made the adjustment the year before. We had J-Rob, and he was a smaller guard. And didn't really light it up from 3. He had some games where he did, but he wasn't consistent from the 3. Teams worked it out, and we just struggled. So he made the adjustment, went for a bigger guard who could shoot, and it just made the difference. Yeah. So if we can make that adjustment again and get Matt Hurt in, like, who knows? We could be going back to back.
Could be going back to back, but also players that could be coming in. We'll touch on it quickly before we wrap the episode up, but our NBL1 squad. Now, they're silent and deadly at the moment. There has not been much talk besides the stuff that we've posted and the stuff that the main man, SJ, over at the Love of the Game, has been posting as well. Now, we've been teaming up with him and Zach Roberts as well. I've been posting some absolute quality content for all of your NBL1 East stuff at the moment. But they're second on the ladder, Corey. They are second on the ladder, and the race is so tight, especially in that top 6 at the moment.
It's crazy, mate. It's like the NBL1 East is hot. Like I would say before this season, the NBL1 East was probably the weakest conference in the whole of the NBL1. Now it's actually looking like one of the strongest. So Hawks sitting second on the ladder with 2 great home wins last weekend over Bankstown and Centre of Excellence. They're looking really strong. And I was speaking to SJ, and he said that it's a top 8 system, the finals, very similar to like the NRL. So the top 4 will play each other with a second chance. And then the bottom 5 to 8 play in elimination. And then you go to the last 6. And then if you win in the top 4, you go straight through to the last 4. And I really think in that sort of a system in the NBL1 East, you're needing those home games. So it's extremely important for this Hawks team if they want to match what our NBL1 team did and win the title, which would be incredible to watch, especially if you can see it at the snake pit. Wow, that will bring back some memories. If they need to finish in the top 2. If they finish top 2, they get a home game in that first one. If they can get the job done there, they're straight to the last 4 with another home game. if you finish first,
And then
even better. If you
yeah.
finish first and get that home final. I don't even know. Actually, I don't even know. I think it might be a neutral venue for the finals.
I think it is a neutral one up in Sydney somewhere.
Yeah, it's been in Hills. It's been in Hills before. So yeah. So, but you want to get those ones to get to the final at home, because the Hawks have shown at home they're very, very different team to when they're away. They can get the job done away, but I'm not as confident when they're playing away.
Yeah, if they're playing you look at the Manly game and they won by 40, and you look at another game that they played against Hills and they won by 30.
Yeah, but they've lost to some weaker teams away from home as well. But I know Toddy was out in those games as well. But that home court in NBL1 East is massive, because they're getting some crowds in there, and it's intimidating because all the crowds are right on top of you. So it's not easy, and you can hear everything everyone is saying in the crowd, not just the people in the front row. You can hear what everyone is saying. So it's going to get emotions like rising and flowing. So it's huge. So it's extremely important. If they can get that top two, they could maybe match what the NBL1 Hawks did and go. But there's one thing that's for sure, and that is Toddy Blanchfield, you are the absolute lock for the MVP. I know other people are talking different, but no way, mate. This is
no way.
Unless something happens and there's an injury or something, or you don't play out the season because, I don't know, getting prepared for the NBL. Like, man, I've never seen. I actually predicted, and usually when I predict something, it goes the opposite way. I said that I expected him to dominate, because he dominates in other NBL ones. When he played for Gold Coast and so forth, he was always, and it's just because other people, there was SJ put something up about who would you bench cut, and it was Galloway, Toddy, and Noy, and you'd argue that Galloway and Noy at the moment in their NBL careers are having more of an impact than Toddy, other than when Toddy had a couple of those games towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
but in NBL1. Forget about it. Toddy can dominate, and certain players have that ability. Like when they cut, Toddy can do it all. Like rebounds, block shots. Gave some dimes last week. Shoot the hell out of it.
Yeah,
get to the mid range. Knocks down his free throws. It just fits in that thing. While Noy and Galloway aren't seem to having the same impact. Like I know I've talked to people who follow the Sharks, and they're saying Noy's not even their best player. It's Hutch, who's been out of the actual NBL for a long period of time. He used to be a former Kings player, but wasn't a huge player in the NBL. And he's the guy for them. And so Noy has to, and I don't know whether he probably doesn't like that too much. I don't know. So it's interesting, because Noy is very much, we've spoken about it before, likes to hype himself up and talk himself up about how good he is. And he's a very good player, but sometimes you should just let other people say that you're good.
Yeah, it's getting a bit annoying, as we like to say. But no, this is Toddy's world, and we are all absolutely living for it and living in it. Toddy is the lock for MVP at the moment. I know Will Mayfield's right behind him, overtook him. We put a post up the other day that order had been restored when Toddy went back to the top of MVP, the rankings for it. He's just absolutely dominating. He's not playing that 2-3-4 role that he plays in the NBL. He's playing a 3-4-5 role even. Like, you see him and he's down in the low post, and he's the double-double king at the moment of the NBL1 East. He averages almost a double-double every single game. If it's not 30 points and 10 rebounds, it's 15 points, 15 rebounds, and like 6 or 7 assists, 3 blocks.
He's just doing it. And the blocks, he's doing everything. It's crazy.
He's getting up. He's dunking.
But in this thing, he's actually like, he's actually big. Like, you don't realize how big he is. But in NBL1, he's like, there's not many other players who look bigger than him.
No.
He's like 6'7", 6'8". He's such a good size for this league. And he's just absolutely tearing them up. Now, there's some dream matchups that I'd love to see in these finals. It's the year before we know it too. There's only 7 games left, and they come thick and fast over the next couple of weeks. I'd love to see us play the Comets to get against Bales and obviously Davo Hickey. That'd be sick matchup. But also, I wouldn't mind seeing them play the Sharks as well. So that would be a dream matchup. Canberra, I think, are the other danger team. They're a real solid team, and they've got some great contributors. Yeah. It might be a bit of a matchup issue with us. Got some players who can dominate inside.
Yeah.
But I think the matchup that would be a dream for the NBL 1 East would be either the Hawks v Comets or Hawks v Sharks.
I think for just cinema, from a pure
100%.
cinema perspective,
100%.
it would be world class to have even just a Hawks Comets, like a Hawks Comets, Davo versing all of his mates over at Illawarra.
Well, Bale's played for us as well.
Bale's playing against Illawarra.
Mundine for a bit of showmanship.
Oh, honestly, it's
the man might even be in the crowd. I guarantee the man will be there.
Oh yeah, he'll be there. He'll be there.
That'll be sick.
But our NBL 1 squad, you're killing it. Big massive shout out to CJ Marin, Kobe McDowell White, Brad Ballinger, Toby Campbell. The list could go on and on and on and on and on. We could sit here for hours. Dante Bruton's killing it at the moment. Jonah Flynn's coming in there. Good old young Flinny.
The new signing, Kyle Leslie,
mate.
Got a bit of range.
Killing it. Just this squad is absolutely ridiculous. But our main man himself, he's been killing it at the moment. And he's been reduced down to a 6-man of.
I know.
But if there was a 6-man of the year award for the NBL 1, he'd be absolutely dominating at the moment. But Matty Mims, you're our legend. You're our hero, mate. Big, massive shout out.
Massive shout out, because most players, especially import players, would have been a little bit upset. Like, it was a great signing. Lockie Dent has helped the team significantly, but not to like get down yourself or be grumpy or drop your head. You've just shown what a true professional is. And I know this is your first professional season. And you've actually shone, mate. And it's really helped the team. Though you can't underestimate how important it is to have players like Matty Mims in the team who puts the team first over themselves, and other players see that, and it's infectious. And don't underestimate the importance of that. And I think if they do go on and to win it, he's going to have a huge say in it at both ends of the court.
Oh, absolutely. And he's that ultimate dream two-way player that most clubs would dare to dream of. He gets it done on both ends, offense. He can splash the three. He can get to the basket. He can dunk. I've seen that man dunk in warm-ups. That man is my height, and I have seen that man dunk. He is absolutely lethal.
Nice. And he said, I think he might have said to me, if they do win the title, he might get down on one knee.
We don't know. We don't know. We'll have to ask him in another episode. We'll have to hit Matty back up. We never know. But that is basically it from us. That has been everything that is going on down here, Corey. It's been great getting back on here, getting to talk all of our shit like normal about the Hawks and keep it going. Basketball has kept rolling. We've got the footy on at the moment. Your Knights aren't going so well compared to my Bulldogs. But
Doggies, mate, get those grand final tickets.
Get another tattoo going, mate.
And the Origin, mate. You're a Queensland supporter. I'm Blues. We're going to Decider. It's going to be on.
It's going to be on.
It's going to be on.
Sports is killing it at the moment. Loving it. But we love you guys, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So a massive shout out to you guys. Thanks for everything on our socials and for watching our episodes, keeping up to date with it all, sending us, tips, tricks, informations, insider gossip, all the rest of it. It's been super, super helpful. We couldn't do it without you. And again, we couldn't do it without our amazing sponsors and without our team behind us as well. So again, massive shout out to boys at Principal Brewing. Go over there, go get yourselves a Hawk Hazy, go and support the team. Over at Enable U2, big massive shout out to Nathan and the team over there. And a big massive shout out to Josh, Jez, Ryan, and all of the team over at the Basketball Fix. And as always, Corey,
go you Hawkies!
Go the Hawks!